Hi everyone, Burning Sword here. I decided to make a character in World of Warcraft based on the idea of the ultimate Iron Man from RuneScape. I've really enjoyed watching Swamp Man go through, his entire series. I've watched, that 12-hour video probably twice on its own, as well as following it throughout. Um, but what you're seeing on the screen right now is just a couple clips of me using a random spinner and then quickly showing and making the character. The main point of showing the spinner is because I wanted some of it to be random. I wanted to have certain restrictions set on me. So I didn't want to just pick a spec because I wanted to play it. I wanted it to be a random choice. And I ended up landing on Fury, Simulating Fury. And then, it chose Horde. And then from there, I didn't pick the Kraken, but it chose Tauren as well. And I did cut out some clips. I was trying to see if I could restrict myself weapon-wise, but I decided against it in the end. I just felt it would restrict the game too much for me to have fun and enjoy it, and I don't want to do this and try and put out some decent quality stuff for you guys to watch and enjoy as well if I'm not enjoying it. So, in case any of you aren't certain or don't know what Ultimate Iron Man is, in RuneScape it's a matter of you can't trade with anyone, you can't use the auction house or the grain exchange in that game. You can't bank. You are entirely solo dependent on all the inventory slots you have in your bags. And that's it to play through the entire game. So I'm applying that to this character here. With this, my intention is exactly the same. I'm not going to trade with anyone. I'm not going to use the auction house. To the point where even sometimes I may take buffs off of myself. Maybe here or there, we'll see. Depends. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't think 10-minute long buffs are going to make any game-breaking changes. But I'll leave that up to you guys to decide in the comments if you think that is going against the spirit of the game, of trying to play the game this way. So with that, some other things I'm considering: dungeons. Dungeons are a big stink point for me. So I absolutely love going on dungeon runs. It is one of my favorite parts of the entire game, probably other than raiding and sometimes PvP. With that being said, I do want to still do dungeons. So I'm not going to let anyone carry me, if that makes sense, because obviously I have several clips of this piled up, so I can make this, and if something happens and I can't play for a while, I can still work on stuff and put it out for you guys. And there was one dungeon group that tried to invite me, or did invite me, and I joined for Race for the Chasm, and they had level 35 there saying they were carrying me. I just told them no, and I left. I want to specifically earn my spot in that group and earn the loot that I get. So I'm not certain how I'm going to go about doing that effectively, because it is supposed to be solo content, but then as well, considering how Swamp Man did it in his videos, he had people all of the same or lesser than him abilities and skill points and that. So I don't really know how I can make that work. I could try to make it so that I only accept invites to groups where I'm the highest level. Maybe I'll do something like that. We'll see. So with this as well, another thing to consider are professions. And this one's, it's something I understood going into it, and I'm still embracing it. But at some point, I'm going to have to unlearn professions I've put many hours in to learn different professions to get different things I need. One example is I'm going blacksmithing and mining. Just because I really want the ability to make my own armor and weapons as the game goes on, and not rely on world drops and not hope that vendors can get me through efficiently. And one of the big issues with that is with blacksmithing, you need leather. And yeah, you'll see I've gotten my blacksmithing up to level 30 or so, and I realized this issue, that a lot of things are going to eventually need leather if I want to actually make them. So I end up abandoning blacksmithing. I think, okay, I will just stockpile leather. And I come to the conclusion that I will just stockpile leather and even decide that I won't go back to start doing blacksmithing until level 20, maybe early to mid 20s. So that way I can get a whole bunch of medium leather as well, and then I can crank through that, light leather and medium leather. So here's some clips, just a few of them from me streaming on Twitch. You can go over to Twitch and look up Burning Sword with an underscore between the two words. I stream live there rather often. As always, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. I wonder if a rare spawn ever spawns here. This is beautiful. I don't want to break this forge yet. Not at least until I mine that up and smelt that. And look at that. That's so much money if I was able to use the auction house right there. 20 stack of copper bars. I know people would just sell that stuff at ridiculous prices right now, and it's absurd. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm also a dwarf. A big hairy dwarf. Oh. Oh. I understand. I understand. I think I'm going to unlearn blacksmithing. Reason for this. Alright, I unlearned blacksmithing so I can learn skinning. Right now, my blacksmithing was only level 30. That's not a big thing to overcome. It's not. What I want to do is I want to get an excessive amount of hide so that I can very easily get up into the hundreds with blacksmithing. Here we are. I got about 4 or 5. No, I got 5 levels tonight. That's awesome.